Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Splintered Fang for WarCry. Let's get started. Alright, so we are down at the table with Splintered Fang. This is the newest set of warbands released today, 10th of August, for WarCry. And these are going to be the gladiator-esque. They do a lot of snare abilities, so they can cause you to lose movements, and they do some poison attacks that bump up their strength and whatnot. So in the box, you're going to get your True Blood, Pure Blood, Serpent Collar, some snakes, the Venom Bloods here, and then some Clear Bloods. I'm not quite sure how many of each or what weapon options there are in the box. I know you're going to get 10 of their unit cards, so let's go ahead and fully open this up and see what's going on. Cool. Comes in a nice little tray. You got the instructions. Let's look at those real fast. Alright, so there's your contents. Looks like it's going to be 3 sprues and then your... Oh, interesting. Yeah, so 525mm base, 2 28s, and 3 32s. So no large base, like larger, like 40 in this set, which was interesting because I thought the snakes were going to be on a 40mm base at least. But they look like they go together. Pretty simply. I really love the way that the sprues are designed for this game. My favorite so far has been the Untamed Beasts, just because they have a lot of spots when they glue together like this that the seam line is hidden, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of spots here on these guys too. So like this seam line, when they glue this together and then you glue the arms and stuff, that seam line is going to be hidden, which is awesome because that means less putty work. And that was real quick look at that. So let's take a look at the sprues. All right. So 3 half sprues. And they definitely have the gladiator feel with like the half chain armor with a little bit of leather working in there. Then you've got the leader's net here. You got your little trident. There's your leader's body with the serpent's tail. Oh, there's the snakes. See if we can get a little closer on that. So that's neat. I like how it's just one, group of snakes. You just glue it to the base and paint it. That's awesome. There's your whips. So we'll look at the cards here in a second, but I know there are going to be a couple of options when it comes to whether you want to have swords or whips. So this army might be a good candidate for magnetisation if you don't want to buy multiples. We'll take a closer look at that here in a second as well. There's another serpent. I like that crossed daggers. That's cool. Ooh. Is that like a cobra? Oh yeah. So that's the one that goes on the serpent collar. That's really cool. Right there. Huh. Okay. Camera's not focusing all that well, so we will stop trying to get it. So let's take a closer look at the cards. Alright, so let's take a look at inside the pack, just like the other non-chaos warbands, you're going to get all of the languages, so you'll have extras of these if you're multilingual. So let's take a look at this. Oh, this side. Yeah, here we go. So these are going to be your fighter types: True Blood, Serpent Caller, Serpents, Pure Blood. Yeah, so you've got your Venom Blood with Barbed Whip, your Venom Blood with Spear and Shield, and your Venom Blood with Dueling Blades, and then, or you can do Blade and Barbed Whip. So we'll take a look at those, because that could lead into using magnets, or you may need another box. And you got your Clear Bloods, or Clear Bloods with a shield. So I wonder if that's going to give them a higher toughness rating. So before we look at the abilities too closely, let's look at the cards, so we can kind of get a familiarization with how these units work. So I'm going to scoot up so I can get a little closer to the camera. So here is your leader. So he's got a movement of 4, 20 health, 4 toughness. So he's got a solid leader profile there. Good. Range is nice in this. So 4 attacks at 4 strength, 2 and 5. So he's definitely capable of helping out. He doesn't have to hide as much as other leaders do. So your Serpent Caller. Interesting. Oh, I see. Okay, so movement of 5, toughness 4, strength 15, and he's going to have this rune mark. But so he can attack within 2 inches with the snake. So that's like the snake bite, which is 4, 4, 2, 4. So that's really nice. And oh, sounds like my neighbor is doing some yard work, so we will have to deal with that. Sorry, guys. And then he also has a ranged attack, which looks like he's throwing some darts, which is at an 8 range, but only 1 attack, so because he's throwing the dart. So that's cool. I like that. That's very thematic, because he can throw the dart further than the snake can reach. So I like that. That's cool. All right. Oh, hey, look, serpents. So you got your beast rune mark. They move 6, so they're really squishy. So these guys are about the same stat line up here as the Aether Wings. The Aether Wings can move 12, since these guys can only move 6, and they have the beast rune mark there, which means so they're definitely gonna have something that they can do. They got a 1 inch. Wow, that's a nice profile. So you definitely can hunt for crits here with that 5. You're going to need 5s or 6 to hit most of the stuff in the game, so you'll most likely be looking for that crit anyway. Okay, so I think we're going to be starting to get into... Yeah, so this is the Pure Blood. 4, 4, 12. So these guys are a bit squishy. Not if you're careful with their movement and stuff like that, they won't die to a stiff breeze, but don't let yourself get cornered, otherwise you just flick them on the head and they'll be dead. Range 1, 4, 4, 2, 4, so that's solid. So he's going to do some solid output damage. With a strength of 4, he'll probably be hitting on 4s. For most of the warbands, any of the tougher guys, of course, he'll be hitting on 5s, but that's for most everybody. And then we'll check out what his rune mark does here in a second. I'm going to set him aside there. Alright, so now we're going to start getting into the various different Venom Bloods. So this is the Venom Blood with Barbed Whip. And the shield seems like it is doing something, because he has 5 toughness, 10 wounds, so he's a little bit when it comes to his wound profile. He's got a range of 3, so that's where his wound profile is. It helps, because he can be shield walled 3, 4, 1, and 2, so he's going to hit pretty easily for some decent damage. You know, you'll probably get anywhere from 2 to 4 damage out of him, But at range 3, that's awesome, because then you're not actually stuck in combat. You're not engaged. So set that one right there, just so we can look at... Alright, so this is another Venom Blood, so we can see real quick that this one, they do share a rune mark. But since this guy has the spear and shield, he keeps his toughness, and he loses 1 range, but he gains a regular damage. And he's more expensive, of course. Alright, so it looks like there are 4. Interesting. Alright, so this is going to be your Venom Blade with dueling blades. He doesn't actually have a rune mark, but let's see if we can focus. Come on, camera. There you go. So 85 points. So this is your chaff guy. 4-3, yeah. So these oof. So they got a decent move, low. So this guy's basically just, he's going to be kind of a screening unit. You're going to want to use this guy. He'll get some good damage in, but he's there to tie people up. Alright. Okay, then you've got your last Venom Blood. So this guy is 85 points as well, but he gains a ranged attack. Because he has the whip. So with that, he loses 1 attack here, because the other Venom Blood has a 4 here. But for the same point cost, having a range 3, I think this might be the go-to Venom Blood for chaff. Like if you want to run multiple, like 2 or 3, I would run with these guys. Being the same point value and having that ranged attack is going to be helpful. Even it's not going to hit as reliably. It's not going to hit as reliably as other ranged attacks will, but being able to keep him out of combat will definitely keep him alive. So, and then you've got your Clear Bloods. So he's got a 3, movement of 4, 10. These guys are cheap. Yeah, so pretty simple for your grunt style units. These guys aren't the elite. These guys are just your fodder, really. So being able to get in there, do a couple of burst damage, hopefully, and then get out. And then the next one is the actual one with the shield, which gives him a rune mark for 5 more points, and the shield does have an effect on his toughness. So, oh wow, that, and then yeah, so then it halves his attack characteristic, which is interesting. So we're going to take a look at that rune mark real quick to see. And then you get your cards in case you're running like multiple Clear Bloods. You don't have to have multiple cards. But if you're looking at buying into this set, I actually would recommend getting more than 1 at this point from what I can see, just to try out which ones you like. You've got so many options with this Warband, with these 4 and then these 2. So let's go take a look at... Alright, so they have a faction-wide double poisoned weapon. Till the end of this fighter's activation, the strength characteristic of attack actions made by this fighter count as being higher than your target's toughness characteristic. Okay, that makes a bunch of sense now. Holy crap. So, yeah, I get it. So this, man, that's whew. Okay, take a deep breath, because that's crazy. So anybody can use, so basically you're looking at this right here. So you could be going up against an orc that has a toughness of 5, spend a double, and now you're hitting that orc on 3s instead of 5s and 6s. regardless of what your strength is. That's intense. I like that. Okay, so then your leader has the Ensnaring Net double. Pick a visible enemy fighter within 3 inches of this fighter. Until the end of the battle round, that enemy fighter cannot make move or disengage actions. Okay, so the net does what all nets do. It ensnares you. So there's your first snare. That's nice. I like that. Especially if you're capable of locking someone into combat so that the person can show up with a double poison weapon attack. Yeah. So these guys are definitely going to work off each other. And then, okay, so everyone that's got the shield here, you got your Fanged Buckler. So pick a visible enemy fighter within 1 inch of this fighter and roll a dice. On a 3 to 4, allocate 1 damage point to that fighter. On a 5 or 6, allocate a number of damage points to that fighter equal to the value of this ability. Okay. Okay, so that makes more sense too on why he's halved. So here, he can use his double. You can use your double for poison weapons to pretty much guarantee these 2 hits. But with this, if he's in combat using this double, you're guaranteed damage as long as you're within 1 inch of somebody. So that's cool. So 3 or 4, 1 damage on a 5 or 6. So that's a 33% chance of getting 1 damage and another 33% chance of getting whatever your double is. I'm not going to do the mental math there on calculating both of those out. I'll leave that to you guys. But now I can see why he's more expensive for half the attack, because that buckler attack is what you're going to want to use him for. Alright, so then you've got the, what's he called? The Serpent Caller. He's got the triple Snake Charmer. Pick a friendly fighter with the Beast rune mark within 4 inches of this fighter. That fighter makes a bonus attack action. Okay, so his triple is basically like the Beast Speaker triple. So I do like that they say Beast rune mark. That's awesome, because it won't, even though it's called Snake Charmer, it can affect, so if you're doing a campaign or whatever and you have beast thralls in your campaign, you can control those using this. It doesn't have to be just the snakes. So I like that. Alright, triple. So this was the one on this guy, which is the Pureblood. And he's the only one that has this rune mark, is the Pureblood. So Relentless Fighter, or excuse me, Relentless Killer, and it's a triple. A fighter can use this ability only if an enemy fighter has been taken down by an attack action by them this activation. This fighter makes a bonus attack action. Okay. So if he kills somebody, then you can spend the triple and then he gets to attack again. So he's going to end up having to be close enough to do that. So this one will be a little bit tricky to pull off compared to the others so far. And then last but not least, they have a faction-wide quad. Paralyzing Venom. Until the end of this fighter's activation, add the value of this ability to the damage points allocated by critical hits from attack actions made by this fighter. And after each attack action made by this fighter, roll a dice. On a 5 or 6, until the end of the battle round, the target fighter cannot make move actions or disengage actions. So that's awesome. And it's attack action, so you're only rolling 1 dice every time someone uses an attack action. You're not rolling as many dice as you are for attacks. It's just your attack action. But if you're standing still and you use this quad, then you're going to do some high burst damage depending on how high your quad is. And if you're standing still, then that's 2d6, and any 5 or 6 makes it so that they can't use move or disengage actions. So these guys are definitely snares. They like to screw with their movement. But this double right here is game changing, in my opinion. Especially that it's army wide, being able to guarantee that your strength characteristics is always higher than your toughness, your opponent's toughness, is evil. you may not be able to take someone down first round using this, but being a double, you're going to guarantee that you're going to use this at least once or twice in every battle round. So that's what you're going for. But wow. So yeah, I'm excited for the Splintered Fang now that I've seen them up close and personal. They're definitely a warband that I can get behind. So that will actually do it for us for these guys. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section for me. If you like what you've seen and you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. Hitting that bell icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming content. WarCry is definitely going to be heavily represented on this channel because I feel like it's one of Games Workshop's best games since Blood Bowl. So, yeah, like I said, that will do it for these guys. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have fun.